What is up, everybody? River City Saga 3 Kingdoms. Romance of Three Kingdoms is a classic, iconic, mostly fictitious story detailing with significant warring period throughout Chinese history. An immense variety of media has charted their own interpretations and adaptations of the time period. And the Arc System Works has now stepped into the fray with the River City Saga of the Three Kingdoms. This is 2D beat them up embraces and then presents of comedy set by previous River City titles, resulting in a light-hearted historical map. Throughout River City Saga, Three Kingdoms players experience remainings of events from the Yellow Turban Rebellion to the Battle of Red Cliffs in China. The Han Dynasty had ruled for centuries, and the common folk faced unfortunate circumstances such as plagues and governmental corruption. It's a raw of life for many out there. However, a brash, courageous man named Guan Yu is determined to make society more livable and prosperous. He eventually meets those who want to become in his brother's arms, Liu Bei, Zhang Fei. Then, after conversing and understanding one another, the Ode of the Peach Garden is formed, where the three vow to restore the glory of the Han Dynasty. Several other events occur throughout the story, and it all manages to be a genuinely engaging beginner's course into the Three Kingdoms. Of course, countless librarians are taken, but it's a pretty fun. Truthfully, as someone who is not a Three Kingdoms buff, I can say I have a decent wag and compress understanding on the certain events that transpire. Further, the primal cast is engaging with the breakneck speed dialogue, so any potential slowness one would typically expect from a game taking its narrative its present. Throughout how the title doesn't let up, its packing makes difficulty to genuinely internalize the particulars of some story events, so don't expect to feel emotionally attacked. Then again, the real draw that will keep players around is brawler gameplay. River City veterans will feel at home here, will face both against waves of foes. Punch and kicks can be performed with the combo strings, and various learnable skills diversity the competitive applications. Many aspects of the combat are self-explanatory, and even those unfamiliar with the beat them ups won't have troubles grasping the fundamentals. You can also level up and choose several stats to invest points into with the transparent decryptions, benefit of Adim Adam. The design choice helps extremely the sheer sense of gameplay freedom. Players can worthily embrace, and fighting styles will surely vary between users. Still, I made that was degree of the combat fell short for me because there is an absolutely overpowered skill learned early on that overly decimates foes from afar. Called Aura Punch, a generous shockwave is fired out of the one holds the punch button for a specific amount of time. The grand power granted by skill is honestly laughable to a degree where I barely had to mangle with the rest out of the mechanics. Aura Punch doesn't necessarily teach the challenge of every battle, but I was able to resort it to the often enough that is impossible to overlook. Regardless, there are all the RPG elements to note, such as equipable gear providing expected stat benefits and usable items that restore health. Towns offer special meals and grant temporary stat buffs too, so there are plenty of gameplay elements to consider before heading out Turks to spam Aura Punch. Ultimately, the currency is at the core of the experience here is since used to produce almost everything, including the new battle techniques. Fast travel is even possible at any point via the map, throughout 2-cost currency, so must access whenever back training or funds lost is more worthwhile sacrifice. Player will undoubtedly utilize this functionality often during the main side quest. They are especially notable ranging between the item collection and enemy defeats, but they do grant neat rewards for those willing to invest the time. A gameplay phase it wasn't entirely expecting was platforming. There are many sequences where one most platforming challenges usually relating to optional objectives. Unfortunately, Area Deep is burdensome to detect due to the clash between the shown stripes and the backgrounds. Thankfully, these segments really grew legitimately frustrating because of their reliability, but I never really grew used to how deep perception works at this time. It always felt off. On a flaunted note, the soundtrack deserves legitimate acclaim. It's impressively intense, truly setting up appropriate atmospheres for crucial story battles. However, it can be somewhat awkward during the character conversation since there is no cutscene specific music. The same carry over tracks playing towns and field exploration can kill the mood. Another issue worth bringing attention to this old controller's implementation. I had custom mapped my controls with Steam itself, since the game was not naturally detect any controllers I own. This is point relatively minor since the Steam button mapping is simple, but hopefully in the game fix arrives for controller customization. So River Saga Three Kingdoms is low stakes 2D adventure that offers a varied array of customization options to influence its beat-em-up combat. As explained previously, there is exactly a well-kept balance, but there is a genuine fun here for those simply seeking an experience where they can turn off their brain. Moreover, the narrative can be seen as enjoyable adaptation of Three Kingdoms in spite of its rapid pace acting a loose entry point. The repetitive gameplay loop likely means long play sessions won't be norm here. Still, there is a decent chunk of content dedicated fans can pursue. Thank you. Bye.